What up, what up, what up? Bankroll Tim bedded up in the shop. Been in the shop a couple late nights. Haven't had time to do a video in what, 5-6 days now? Damn. It's been a minute. Been trying to bust all this shit out. I had my son pull these down the other day, cleaned them up because they was getting pretty dirty. They're for the dunk. Just got the axles, got the arms in this. So upper arms are in, lower arms are in. Got the rear end cleaned up in those areas, like I was saying. I gotta put the cross brace in here yet. But anyways, a little bit of work got done to this. Got the axles. They actually got the axles off today for the dunk at the house. So I had to bring the axles with. Boom. Went 29 inches long, 28 spline, half-inch studs. I'll open those up in a minute, pull them out, or I could open them up now. You guys want to wait? Let's see. See if I can do it one-handed. So, went with 2-inch, half-inch screw-in studs. That way, if you ever need to go longer, you can go longer. But the way it comes out, it should sit just right. Still a C-clip axle. Like I said, 28 spline motor. Obviously, you can see the box. Those wheels right there are 26 by 9, so there's 10 overall. And then 2.65 backspace, reverse lip, blah, 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 blah. You know, reverse lip just means it's got a short backspace. So with this measurement, this and that axle in that car basically is, let's see, 32 is stock length axle, and this is 29. So there you go. Subtract that, boom. Comes over, what, 3 inches. So 3 inches narrow on both sides. That wheel should go right underneath there. Frame rail notch towards the back, because those cars, you know, have that little bow out. Boom. So like I said, the second I get this done, I can get this up on the lift, and it's not going to take that long to do the back suspension. All the parts are over there, and this one can be out of here. This one can be out of here. But yes, this has been the main focus right here. You know, I've already got people hating. It's not even done. I'm showing in the middle, so you can see how the welds, you know, burn marks going up, this and that. Like I was saying before, the cleaner you get everything, the better everything's gonna work. The straighter you make the cuts, the better everything's gonna work. These cars, they slant back right there like a motherfucker, so that's why I had to cut the brace there. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with the brace there. That one up there for the trunk hinge area, that one actually I cut perfect for the tub, boom, and was able to weld around it. Turn the welder down, was able to buzz it right up. All that stuff will be wire brushed, you know. That's a piece of 1/8 inch by inch and a half. So to the back of the tub, all there. It's fully welded. So that way it's not just tack, 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 tack. It's fully, you know, tack over tack over tack, boom. So it all filled in good. Nobody's ever gonna see that anyways. So once you clean it up, it looks like shit right now. Oh, here, like I said, I'm not hiding nothing. Boom, you can see up on it. You're dealing with undercoating, you're dealing with thin metals, you know, you're dealing with a lot of shit. You don't have to have the welder up that much or you'll burn through. But the picture that I took and put on IG, there's a chunk of something right there. What is this? Oh, but it's nowhere near finished. That area right there, I can push the outer tub down, but I'm gonna run the grinder across there, which I have a battery one right here. I'll run the grinder across there and clean up that edge. I'll push it down with the hammer, tack, push it down, tack, push it down, tack. I'm gonna put a strip of 1/8 inch in there to hook the brace back up, which, let's see, the brace, I mean, it's really not flexing too much. You could possibly get away with not putting it back in, but that little area that's bumped out, once I run, probably do the same thing there. Like I said, at least 1 inch wide or 1.25 inch wide, 1/8 inch strip steel, which you can get anywhere, any hardware store, Farm and Fleet, stuff like that, Menards, they sell that shit. This hinge over here, I actually had cut it up too far, so I had to take a piece that I cut off. I'm trying to focus on my finger. I took a piece I cut off, and then I shaped it to fit in there, so I had to weld to the top and then to the tub. But again, once the wire brush goes around that and stuff like that, you're still going to use sound deadening, you know. Look, that's real thin. So you're gonna hear rocks hitting it, shit like that, boom. So you're still gonna use sound deadening. You're still gonna, you know, some dyno mat or whatever. This isn't a race car. It doesn't need to be weighing nothing, you know, like it does. Do they make thicker sets of tubs? No. Will they start making thicker sets of tubs and stuff like that, for stuff like that? Is there people out there that form their own tubs and make their own tubs out of thicker material? Yes. But these are tub kits that you buy, and I forget the gauge. I think it's like 16 gauge. Might not even be that, but I'm not sure. I don't keep stuff like that stored in my head. But I gotta still go through all there, where you see all the gaps, and I'm gonna fully weld, fill it all in. The more welds, the better. It's gonna thicken everything up, tighten everything up. The back plate right there of the car, how it's cut, there's going to be a little piece put in there. The top part against the back seat, there's going to be a piece put in there on both sides. So the stronger, the better. As you guys can see, if you're on IG and see the comments, that fly whips or whatever the hell, talking about trash ass work. Trash ass work. Okay, buddy, let's see what you can do. Besides pay $100 here, $80 here, $200 here, $300 here, over fucking 6, 7, 8, 10 months, whatever the hell it was. Anyways, I'm not hiding anything. So as you can see, all that inside the car right there is not done yet. It's just barely tacked, so I still got to go through and do all that. A lot of this tacking is done. It's just not cleaned up yet. You know, still got the burn marks and stuff like that. Towards the back, now you can see how that's a full line right there. And then, but it's welded all the way around. A couple little holes up there. I'm gonna go back there, you know. It's not done. Not done. Inside the car here, let me see if I can sit on this lift. So, you see the tub, boom. There's some area up this way we'll be able to get to. Tack. But it's already fully tacked on the inside. But as you can see to the top, how it gets a bigger gap. Stock tubs are always deep enough for height up in there. The bad spots are right here, because it doesn't come far enough this way, it curves. And the same thing in the trunk. So this is the main thing for tubs, you know. For wheels to clear and stuff like that, and this being 13 inches. A lot of these angles are showing, you know, you think it's leaning and shit like that, but the way this camera works. But they're not perfect, but they're pretty damn straight. Perfect. You know, I got the degree wheel and stuff like that. I make sure the car's level. That side, as you can see what I'm saying, the gap that's there, up in there. You could sit here and you could take a piece of tin and you could shape it to fit in there. Boom. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the medium expansion foam, the medium stuff that just slowly, because we want the sound deadening. So once I fill all that with that, then I can cut off the excess stuff like that, because we want the sound deadening. You don't want to be driving in the car and hearing, you know, all the noise back here from the ground and weather and shit like that. So again, that piece right there be plated in, up on top of there be welded in. You need all the structure. You see the plate is just sitting right there, which is still got to be tacked all in right there. My son was in here doing the inside stuff because he's a little guy. I'm a big guy, and if I'm in here and nobody's around, I gotta get in and out, and I'm trying to fit in this door right now. But he was adjusting his chain on his dirt bike, and broke the little adjustment bolt on the back of it because he got ahead of himself. So, see this little adjuster right here to pull the wheel back? Well, he didn't loosen up the axle enough and broke that up right there. Well, not that big of a deal, but he got all mad, came in here, and he punched the wall. Well, what do you think he did when he punched the wall? Broke the inside part of his hand right under, right where my star's at, right there in the middle part of the hand. So he had to have grandma take him to the emergency room last night, and they x-rayed it and all that stuff. So now we gotta take him to the orthopedic, or make him an appointment, go to the orthopedic surgeon and stuff like that, see if it needs to be some screws or a plate or anything, or if it's just gonna heal. My hand is broke right there, which my pinky tingles and bounces around because I broke my shit before too, but that's a different story. So anyway, saying that, he's small enough to be up in there. Now he can't be up in there because he can't use his right hand, and he can't ride the dirt bike either because he can't throttle it, which is fine. And I told him yesterday, if you would have just been working on this with me, well, could have avoided it, but shit happens. What are you gonna do? I talked to the owner about getting a smaller tire for the front because, as you can see, this tire is very squared on the rim, very big on the rim. So if we were to go with the smaller tire, I can get this thing to set down low, which that's not the height anyways, but in the pictures of it sitting down low. So that way we don't have to get into that fender for shit. And that's the one thing to prove it to everybody, like I was saying before, not being able to cut that, the back is stretched down there, the tire is stretched down there. So the front is big and square, so it's two different looks. So if you take the 255/25, this is a 275/25. So if you take 255/25 on this rim, it should pull over just enough, which is gonna help. Anytime your wheel is squared like that, the tire is squared like that, and you wanna clear your fender, you go with the skinnier tire and it's gonna pull it in more. Boom. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I want the good ride. You're going to get a good ride, the best ride you can with a low profile tire if the suspension is set right and you're riding the right pounds of air pressure in the tire. 33, 32, right in there. You never want to put the max air pressure of what the tire says. Believe it or not, in that 8 pounds, you're going to go from riding okay to riding like a tank. So, another pointer, another tip, whatever. Got a rear end right here. That's going in this. That's getting cut. Everything's figured out. Boom. Getting this set up on the bench right now because I look at it this way. Anytime I come into the shop, if I'm doing something towards getting this car done, whether it's finishing the tubs right now or starting the rear end, getting all this figured out, I'm doing something to get it closer to being done. Yes, it should have been done. Yes, the car has been here a year and nobody listens to everything. I've been busting my ass, and I was way behind on a lot of cars, and I've got myself caught up. I'm behind on 2 cars. Donzel's car and this one. Those are the only 2 that are behind. This is an in and out job, but because of everything that's going on and having to order this and that or whatever and being one person, I got other things going on outside of the shop that need to be taken care of. Getting my kid registered for school, getting school stuff like that, organizing other things, The Bonneville is very close. I just need to get this done. Everybody wants to see this car. I want to see this car done. I got to get it out there. I got to put some plugs in it. Because like I said, when it came here, it was running kind of rough. And then it got to where after a couple weeks of pulling in and out, got to running like balls, like it was flooding itself out. So I'll put some plugs in it, boom, make sure it's got some fresh gas in it, and that way I can clean it up, test drive it, boom. I'm gonna get some Flex Seal to use on the tubs on the inside once this is ready. So I'll get the rest of that carpet, glue, whatever that, dusty shit is. I'll clean that up out of there, vacuum up some shit, vacuum inside these corners, inside there, all the debris goes and sets inside the quarter panel right there. So you don't want that debris in there, because any type of moisture or whatever, it will cause the car to rot out. So that being cleaned up, I'll be able to seal down in there. You know, Flex Seal is basically a type of undercoating. I just cannot stand undercoating. Undercoating is horrible, and sometimes that shit never dries. That other shit that I was using inside the trunks, I let it sit too long, and the lid was off of it, and it turned to some jelly, nasty shit. So I threw that out. And the last car that I had used it on, it really didn't. It was like real tacky, even a week later. Maybe it's because it was summertime or it was real hot out. I don't know. But down in here, I'll clean all the debris out of there, use the vacuum, clean all that shit out. Because, you know, all this, look, dusty ass grindings and stuff like that, and the dirt, debris that's in here gets down in there. A little bit of water to it, boom. Which this car, you know, it's got factory undercoat. But I'll use the Flex Seal, because the Flex Seal, it's a little expensive to use, but it's going to be better quality when it's done. And like I said, when he goes to the interior shop, sound shop or whatever, depending on which way he does it, you know, you could block all that and use the thing that, you know, the trunk piece that blocks everything, and show whatever you want to show. But it'll have that shit coated, and for sound deadening. Same thing within here. So the whole tub will get sprayed, but the rail, I still got to clean the rail up on top, because if you guys remember when I was cutting this tub out, I left the bottom piece in there, so I had already did the frame rail. So I got to clean up the top a little bit. So I got to weld in a couple spots. See how it's nicked right there? So I got to weld in a couple spots, and then clean it up, boom. But the frame rail will be paint, and the tub will be Flex Seal. Boom. Yes, on the camera, this is still my iPhone 13, and there's a thing that you can switch to 4K, and then from 30 to 60, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, resolution, pixels, I don't know, but that's why it's so clean and crisp. But yeah, as for these rear ends right here, this one is, okay, this one's the box Chevy. You can see how the ear placement is low and wide. This is G-body. This one's for the white Malibu, my buddy Jason. But you can see how the G-body is wide at the top, or narrow at the top. See how the difference is, boom, boom. And then they sit up higher. So to tuck real hard on a G-body, you'd want to use a full-size housing, because it's wider apart. So if you ordered a 9-inch for your G-body and you want to tuck hard and you don't want to cut the upper trunk pan up, what you would do is you would order it for upper ear mount for full size, for like box Chevy. Boom. But anyways, I got the boxes tacked on there. The bar on the bench is to keep it square, both pieces square, boom. I measured my overall, the car's lower control arm center mark is 37 and a half, I think. No, 37. So this one I got 37 and a half from center to center, boom. We're narrowing it 3 5/16 on both sides. I got 6 1/4 right here. It's still gonna leave about 3 inches right here, boom. Not using these ends. This is the G-body bullshit end. Boom. We actually have, it's a 28 spline posi center section and gear, all that shit that came out of a Camaro is going in this rear end setup. And the ends, he got the whole rear end. So we cut the ends off too, and the ends are, you know, squared in like this. So that way it already has the bolt pattern on here. I got a couple of sets of these left over that I cut off of rear ends. You can see right here. Boom. He's got his own set, but I got 2 sets right there. So that way with the G-body shit, a lot of you guys, you know, it's got these 2 little bolts down here. They like to break off, which this one came out. But then you got to drill. You got to cut this off, drill that to be able to bolt aftermarket brakes on. So with having those ends, narrowing it anyways, cut these ends off, boom. It's the same measurement from the front of this to the front of this. It's the same measurement. So obviously using tape measures and knowing shit and how to do this shit, my knowledge, those ends, I'll be able to go right on here. So I'll do the first cut, which will be to get the end out of here. I'll do my second cut, which will tell me where I'm gonna be and then how I'm gonna use the other end on there. But I know I make it sound simpler than what it is, but I'm in here doing a lot of shit. We have the axles right here for this one, which Moser axles. These are 25 inches long, still C-clip, 28 spline. Again, 2-inch, half-inch screw-in studs. Small bearing, 1.4 something. I forget exactly what it is. For the end of the axle, you know, this bearing right here, which is 5707 is the bearing number. But obviously those bearings go bye-bye, junk. It's probably the original bearing that was in this housing. Somebody probably never changed it. Somebody might have, because this is pushed in kind of hard. But you never want to reuse those bearings ever. I mean, if something's new and you know it's new within a couple, whatever, and you get them out right, clean them up, whatever, reuse them. But when you go to narrow rear ends and stuff like that, you use new bearings. Why eat up a whole rear end over? I've learned over the years, because there was times I did reuse some bearings, and there was times I never put grease on the seals. You got to put grease on the seal. The first couple times that axle goes around and you don't have no grease on the seal, it'll burn that seal, and then you'll see the gear lube on the back of your rims. Hey, nobody's perfect unless you know, unless you learn, and everybody started somewhere. So I learned over the years. This thing's gonna be sick when it's done, and I'm trying to get it done. I'm one person in here. One person. And I try not to promise anybody dates, but everybody acts like, oh, not everybody, the haters, you know, act like I'm just in here standing around, not doing shit. I mean, fuck, I gotta clean, I gotta sweep, I gotta pick shit up, and it's fucked up in here right now. And underneath the car, look at how much scrap is underneath there from getting the tubs out. A lot of shit. It's hot. It's been hot. Nights have been cold. Been here a lot of late nights this week, and I'm trying. And he's not mad, and you shouldn't be mad at me, not him. I'm saying a person should not be mad at me if you do not have a car with me. You should not be talking about me if you do not have a car with me. You should not be disrespecting me and my business and talking shit to a potential customer or anything like that. If you had a bad dealing, you had a bad dealing, you know. Whatever the truth is, hey, God knows, that's for sure. But I admit, I fucked up, and I'm trying to get past all that and trying to keep going and trying to get everything worked out, so that way I can get them cars in and out one at a time. I should have already had this Pontiac done. I should have already had that done. I should have already been way closer with Donzel's car. Hey, shit happens, and I'm trying. But yeah, Bankroll Tim, mini tubbing. This is mini tubbed. It's not full tubbed. Full tub would be all the way to the quarter. It might have been easier to do it all the way to the quarter, but then it would have required a lot more structure. So you're still gonna do the same amount of work to full tub it or mini tub it. It doesn't need to be full tubbed. The silver Landau that we did, the primered one we did on the Forgiatos, the gold Forgiatos, which was originally not my deal. I made sure the car got done. That car was full tubbed, and that was a 12 by 11, so it was 12 with an 8-inch lip. But we needed that car to sit as low as we could get it, and the frame rail did not go that narrow. And this is, again, this is 13 inches overall. So this is a true by 12, which is 13 inches overall is the wheel. So I needed as much of that frame, that frame needed to be as thin as possible, in as possible, to get this car to sit where I want it to sit. And I still have to trim this outer lip out. So the outer part of the tub being there, I mean, look at the car right here. Boom. So from the outer trim right there, look, all the way up here. So in order to get the car to set is that low, you know, if you wanted to stuff it to the ground, you'd have to narrow way more because you'd have to bring all the way in here to go that low. That's what I'm saying, is how the outer tub is right there. So it's all good. I had the wheel up underneath there. It's gonna tuck. It's gonna tuck nice. And that's what, and again, there's no cut to the car right there, where all these other guys cut the cars right there and move the chrome forward. Only chrome that's gonna get a little finagle is that front chrome, the front part of the fender, just a little bit. All right, y'all, let me get back into welding this thing up. Try to get these tubs done, try to get the rear end set up. Today's Saturday. And yeah, hopefully in the next couple days, this thing can be done, test drove, and out the door. And I'll get plenty of footage of it then. Still gotta put the front brake lines on. Still gotta put the front tie rods on. I didn't stop at the store again to get the tie rods. Center link, or sway bar links are right there. All the parts, everything's here except for in and out of tie rods and the paint and stuff that I need, and the flexi and stuff like that for all this shit. So, Bankroll Tim, batted up. Brutus Forged is what, or just Brutus. Somebody was asking what these wheels were. Maybe it was in a picture on IG, but Brutus. You can see shit gets dirty. And I'll be blowing it off, cleaning the stuff up, but look, dirty. This is a dirty ass job to do this shit. All right, y'all. There we go. Rambling. Bankroll Tim, bet it up. I'm out. Appreciate y'all. To the real ones, 100.